The warning didn't come from radar, it came from silence at 3:12 a.m. Somewhere above the mountains, every signal on the pilot's screen froze at the exact same time. Altitude locked, speed locked. Navigation paused like the jet itself had stopped existing inside the system. For half a second, the aircraft felt weightless, disconnected from the sky. Then everything snapped back. The pilot exhaled slowly. He had over 2,000 flight hours, combat missions, night refueling, carrier landings, but this was new. Instruments don't freeze mid-flight, not all at once, not without a reason. Command asked if he saw anything unusual. He said no, that was a lie, because just ahead of his nose, barely visible against the stars, something darker than the night itself was pacing him. Same altitude, same speed, perfectly steady, no exhaust, no lights, no sound. The jet's radar showed nothing. The mission was supposed to be simple: border patrol, high altitude, minimal chatter, the kind of flight where time stretches and thoughts drift. But now the sky felt crowded, heavy, like it was watching him back. The object drifted closer, not aggressively, not defensively, curious. He adjusted his heading by 5 degrees. The object adjusted instantly, no delay, no correction curve, as if it already knew where he would go. His pulse quickened, but his hands stayed calm. He armed the targeting system. The HUD tried to lock, failed, and reset itself without command. A quiet tone sounded in his headset, the system's way of saying it didn't understand what it was seeing. Command asked again for status. This time he hesitated. Then the radio cut out. Not static, not interference. Just gone. He was alone. The object slid beneath him, then rose above, moving in a vertical plane no conventional aircraft could sustain. Its surface shifted subtly, like it wasn't solid in the way metal should be. It absorbed starlight instead of reflecting it. Another one appeared, then another, 3 objects now, forming a loose triangle around his jet. His breathing slowed. Training kicked in. Assess. Don't assume hostility. Don't provoke. But the jet didn't care about training. A vibration rippled through the airframe. Not turbulence, this was deeper, resonating through the bones of the aircraft. The engines surged, then dipped. Warning lights bloomed across the cockpit like a sudden infection. Flight control degraded, navigation unreliable. Altitude warnings flickered on and off. The pilot corrected manually, flying by feel more than data. At this height, mistakes didn't forgive. Then the sky changed. The darkness thickened, swallowing the stars until it felt like flying inside a sealed room. The objects began to glow faintly, not bright, not threatening, controlled, measured. Rings of soft light pulsed beneath each one, synchronized like a heartbeat. Symbols emerged, not letters, not numbers, shapes that felt intentional. The pilot felt pressure behind his eyes, like the beginning of a migraine, but sharper. Focused, his thoughts slowed, stretched, as if something was gently pressing against his awareness. His HUD went dark, then the backup, then every screen, total blackout. For several seconds, the jet existed without a digital soul. He flew blind, no data, no reference, just instinct, muscle memory, and the faint curve of the earth glowing below him. One wrong movement could stall the jet into a flat spin that would never recover. The objects moved closer. One stopped directly in front of his canopy, close enough that he could see details in its surface patterns beneath the skin, shifting slowly, like currents beneath ice. He raised his hand instinctively, finger resting near the trigger. He didn't fire, not because of orders, because something about the moment felt deliberate. The pressure behind his eyes intensified, then abruptly released. His ears popped, the vibration vanished. One by one, systems rebooted. screens flickered back to life. The HUD returned, clean and stable, as if nothing had happened. The objects were gone, not retreating, not accelerating, gone. The sky reopened, stars reappeared. Radio static burst back into his headset as command flooded the channel with questions, tracking data, confused reports of radar anomalies that appeared and disappeared across multiple sectors. He answered calmly. He reported instrument malfunction. He did not mention the objects. As he turned back toward base, something caught his attention. The jet felt different, not damaged, not unstable, just altered, like a subtle change in balance you notice only when you know the machine intimately. During descent, a minor structural alert appeared, then cleared itself. When he landed, ground crews swarmed the aircraft, performing routine checks. Everything looked normal until one technician froze near the intake. They called over a supervisor, then another. The pilot climbed down the ladder and followed them. There, just beneath the cockpit, was a mark. Perfectly smooth, not scorched, not scraped. A shallow indentation shaped like one of the glowing symbols he'd seen in the sky. The metal around it was intact, undisturbed, as if the shape had been pressed into the jet without force or heat. No one spoke. Someone quietly covered it. The jet was moved into a closed hangar. The pilot was escorted to debrief immediately. Hours of questions followed, data analysis, sensor reviews, medical checks. Official conclusion: unknown atmospheric interference combined with a temporary avionics fault. Unofficial reaction: silence. The pilot was grounded for observation. The jet was removed from rotation. The mark was never mentioned again. Weeks later, lying awake in his quarters, the pilot replayed the moment when everything went dark, when the object stopped in front of him, when firing felt wrong. Not dangerous, not forbidden, just wrong. Whatever had been up there hadn't attacked. It had inspected, and that thought stayed with him longer than any fear ever could. Because inspection implies intent, and intent implies return. If you want more classified style jet stories, pilot encounters, and high-altitude mysteries that push the edge of reality, stay with Jet Clash TV.